Here's Odi.
Well, hello there, and you're very welcome to Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. On the show tonight, I'm going to be talking about the recent tragedies in the air, why we need to shop local, and all things groundhog. I want to hear your thoughts, and you can get in touch with me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, which is 800 905 0989. Or if you want to have a talk with me, you can call me on the PhD Weight Loss Talk line, which is 800 905 0989. Don't forget, I am streaming live on Facebook and YouTube on the News Talk WORD 989 page, and also on my own page, which is Odi Fitzgerald. Now, the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line has already been in full swing, and I'm in the studio a little bit before the show goes out, so don't forget you can text before that. I'll get to them in a couple of minutes. I will get to them, but first, why has an aircraft tragedy? Well, two in particular, but the tragedy that happened to Flight 5342 on Wednesday, January the 29th. You have to remember now as well that this resulted in 67 deaths, 67 lives gone. As you know, the plane or the air traffic tragedy happened in DC, and the helicopter with I think it was 3 pilots in the helicopter, or 3 crewmen in the helicopter, and 64 people on the aircraft. It really has turned into a finger pointing witch hunt. It's turned into another media circus attack on our good friend the Donald. And it kind of shocks me a little bit, because I don't think that the victims or the relatives of the victims, fortunately the poor victims, I mean, the lives are gone. And it's been turned into a media circus, which I hate. I hate that. The relatives of them victims don't care. They don't care about who's pointing fingers. They just want to know what happened. And you've got all the Democrats saying, "Oh, well, Donald Trump shouldn't be giving out about air traffic control, and there's nothing wrong with the air traffic control. Everything is fine with it." But we heard earlier on in the week that there was one person doing the job of 2. Now, air traffic control is one of the hardest jobs in the world. It really is. It has one of the highest suicide rates of any job. Because you have to think about it. People in air traffic control, yes, they have a very big job to do, but they're looking after millions and millions of people every single year. Everybody, like every little dot on their screen, they've got radar screens in front of them, and every single dot is human lives, and they have to look after and take care of it. Now, they say the black box has been recovered from the American Airlines flight, and I'm not sure if the black box has been recovered from the helicopter. They are still searching. A lot of the unfortunately bodies have been removed from the river. I think they're up to 56 bodies now at this stage. But their relatives don't care. They don't. They just want to know. They want to know the fate of their loved ones. A horrible tragedy. I hate to see it. I hate that it happened. But yeah, 67 people are dead. And yeah, authorities are looking into it. They are going to find out what happens. But there's no need to bring politics into it. I'm going to ask the question: if this happened during Sleepy Joe's tenure, would it have been such a big media circus have been made from it? So just think about it for a second. If you were to lose somebody, and I pray it never happens. Hopefully it never happens. I just hope it never happens. You don't want the world talking about what happened to your loved ones. You've got enough worries, you've got enough problems, you have enough on your plate. You don't want to have to think about everything else that's happening. And then on Friday night, we had another tragedy. 7 people, there were 6 people on the aircraft, including a mother and her daughter, were killed in a small plane crash in Philadelphia, which has been identified by the company operating the medical transport. It's a medical transport jet, a light aircraft, or not a light, a smaller jet. There was actually a 7th victim, just a person on the ground who hasn't been named yet. And I'm not going to name. I'm not going to name the 6 people that were killed. I think it was 3. There was 2 pilots, pilot, co-pilot. There was a nurse, and there was a mother and a daughter. And I think there could have been a doctor or something. There could have been another family relative. But that's 3 people in one family that have died. That's not only that, but it's you've got two pilots, a pilot and a co-pilot who lost their lives. I mean, what's happening? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not. I'm really not. What's happening with the air traffic? What's happening with air crash? I mean, I'm not. I'm not in a major rush to get on an aircraft lately. I mean, there was last year. There was quite a few crashes. A few crashes made the news. There was some light aircraft who went down. Are people? I know we talked about this last year. We talked about the fact that maybe there is people in the wrong jobs. Now, I'm not saying that anybody in air traffic control is in the wrong job, but we had a conversation about it. If you can remember, we had a conversation that maybe people are going into jobs that they shouldn't be going into, or is it a case that a job isn't being done right? I mean, if there's aircraft mechanics out there, I mean, I know I worked as an apprentice for many years when I was younger in engineering, and as you know, you may not know, I'm a mechanical engineer. But if something goes wrong, if I do something wrong in my job, there's not what I mean. Stuff can go wrong, but if I was to do something wrong, it's a small little thing. I suppose it's not really. I work with electronic components, but all right. So we'll bring it back down into here, into the radio studio. Okay. So I've been presenting radio shows for about 20 years. I've been working on radio, working on TV for a long time. And if I press the wrong button, like just for argument's sake, say if I press this button here and music starts up, it's not a massive thing. Yes, I know it doesn't sound fantastic, but it's something small. But if you have the wrong person working on aircraft, and if you have the wrong people maintaining aircraft, if you've got somebody who goes in and goes, I don't really feel like doing the work today. I might do a little bit today. Is it a case that we're hiring? Are we hiring the wrong people to do the jobs? You got to let me know. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line is open, 800-905-0989. What have we got so far? Yeah, Odi, wasn't there a huge air traffic control outage in Belgium in the last couple of days? Yes, there was. There was a strike. There was a strike because there's not enough people working in there. Everything is understaffed. You have to remember, every time you get on a flight, when you get on an aircraft, when you get on a plane, you've got the pilot, your co-pilot. You've got, and if it's a big enough aircraft, if it's going across the Atlantic, like I've done many times, you've got a lot of air stewards and stewardesses, hostesses, call them what you will. There's a lot of them. But you've got the air traffic controllers. You've got all the ground crew. You've got all the guys, even the guys that put your luggage onto the plane. If they don't close the door correctly, or if there's a problem with the door mechanism, they have to do their job right. Everybody has to do your job. Odi, the flight was evacuated today because a wing motor caught on fire, and they had to use the slide to get off. I'm just not filled with confidence lately. I mean, even if you buy a car and it's not put together correctly, what's going to happen? Bits of it are going to fall off. You're driving down the main road and a wheel falls off. What's going to happen? You're driving down I-85 and all of a sudden something happens. It's going to be a mess. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about the new press secretary. Has she made an impact? I think she has. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. was about to. After everything. Hello, streamers. Danny and Trey, how are y'all tonight? Always living the dream. Always living the dream. The dream is being lived. I didn't nap much, but I did get a bit of sleep. I stayed in bed until about 9 o'clock this morning, which is late enough for me. It's very late for me recently. Yes, I know a few months back it would have been fine, but recently I've been getting up really early. But yeah, kind of this morning, I'm shaking something off. I've had something for the last week. I'll be talking about it in the show anyway. So we've been talking about the accidents that have been happening in the last couple of days, weeks, months in the air traffic controls and with aircraft. On the stream, streamers sent me a message and said, my daughter was in Wichita and I couldn't reach her when I heard about the crash. It was the worst 20 minutes of my life until she called me back, thinking that she was on the flight. And that is the thing. There's a lot of people like that aircraft left. The aircraft that unfortunately crashed in DC, it wasn't coming from Greenville, but it left Greenville early that morning. Traces, do you think that it is an unfortunate coincidence that there is this many accidents happening so close together? Trey, I'm not. I can see where you're coming from, buddy. I'm not huge on conspiracy theories, but there's a lot. There is a lot, and even the texter saying to me that there was an evacuation earlier on today because a wing and engine caught on fire. Yeah, I don't know. Texter on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Odi, I used to work in a military aircraft controller and I was instructor for a while. I thought that the list of the hiring standards was a satire article. Yeah, you see, I'm not. I'm not really going to go into it. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. But as I've said, it doesn't put much. I don't put much faith in air traffic or air travel at the minute. It's just me. It's just me. Now, what do we think? You tell me. I want you to tell me this. What do you think of our new press secretary, Caroline Levitt? She was born in Atkinson, New Hampshire in 1997. She's an American political aide and government official who has been serving as the White House press secretary under Uncle Donny since January 2025. And she is the 36th, and she is the youngest White House press secretary in history. Levitt was the presidential writer and an assistant press secretary during Donald's first administration. In 2002, she ran for the U.S. House of Representatives in New Hampshire, 1st District, winning the Republican nomination before losing the general election to Democrat incumbent Chris Pappas. That's the little background of her. I think she's got 2 kids or 1 kid. I'm not one kid. But I tell you one thing. I will tell you one thing. I love how on day one, remember day one, she walked straight in to the what's it called? The press room, press office, I suppose. The whatever press conference room. There you go. And she was taking no BS from anybody. No, 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 no. And she knew all of the names of all of the journalists. Everybody, not just the first couple of rows, where the really important journalists, where Odi would sit if he was up there in the White House. But she knew everybody's name. She knew everything. She knew everybody's name. And she answered them by name. She called them by name. She didn't just say, yeah, you in the front row or whatever. And yes, I know the previous press secretary, she was able to do that towards the end of it as well. But there's no fluff with her. There was no kind of ums and ahs. And she, for a 27-year-old girl, she's young. She is very young. I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. No fluff. And if you watched her, she was answering all of the questions, and she didn't even have to look at the brief. It's almost like she had the brief completely memorized. You know what I mean? She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was saying. She just went straight to it. I'll tell you one thing. She put a few people in their place. Let me just give you this one here, and we'll just pop this. And here.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
The worst first. They all have a criminal record.
And welcome to the
If they broke our nation's laws, yes, they are criminal.
There you go. There was no stammer there. There was no ums and ahs and let me just think about this for 1 second. Let me just. No. She went straight into it. And I will be talking about the immigration laws in a couple of minutes. But there was no stammering. There was no stopping. I like her. I like the girl. She's straight and to the point. And do you remember now, this is something that was going on for quite a while as well. Do you remember last, what was it, November, December, the entire East Coast, because it was the entire East Coast, and it migrated across to the West Coast. There was drones. Do you remember the drones? Drones even went across to Ireland. Yes, there was people in Ireland who were saying to me, sending me little newsreels and little snippets and little clips that the drones made their way across the Atlantic. I don't know how they did that. But you remember Uncle Donny was saying to us that he was going to find out and he was going to tell us and everything was going to be okay. And we were going to find out what the drones were. Well, here is exactly Here's what Caroline had to say about the drones.
I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office from President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
You see, look how easy that was. Seriously. Just look how simple that was. It wasn't a case of, oh, it's a big conspiracy, it's a big holdup. No, look it. I know there could be a couple of you out there. There could be one or two people saying that, they're covering it up. No, they're not covering it up. Not covering it up. They're not covering up anything. Common Sense Simon text line 800-905-0989. I think the new press secretary is fabulous. She's tough. She's polite. Yes, she is. She makes me think that maybe she should run for president or vice president someday. Oh, no. There's the cat among the pigeons. Hillary with the, some people were saying that my description of Hillary last week was quite humorous. That she had a face in her like a bulldog eating a wasp or a yellow jacket. Hillary tried to be the first female president. No, we didn't want that. And Calamity, remember Calamity? Remember her? Yeah, what's she doing now? Oh, God only knows. Nobody cares either. She tried to be, but maybe we have a new contender for the first female president. I'd vote for her. And actually, the next time it comes around to voting, I will be a citizen and I will be allowed to vote. Yes, I will. And I'm going to use my vote. Why am I going to use my vote? Because everybody's vote counts. And if you didn't vote in the last election, well, you should have. You definitely should have. I know Donald got in anyway. We're all celebrating. Odi, that is a flat out lie about the drones. They're still happening, and it is not just it's not just in New Jersey. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a lie. I don't know if it's on on the stream. People have been getting in contact. I feel old now. I graduated in 1997. It's all right, Trey. I graduated 2 years after you. I feel just as old as well. And Ronald has been on to say that he absolutely loves the new press secretary, and I do. She's good. She's good at what she does. She is. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about immigration. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. What do y'all think about the tariffs? Oh yeah, so meant to explain on the stream. Okay, sorry, radio stuff happened. On the stream, I keep the show running. Okay, so I don't stop on the stream. So when we go into ad breaks and we go into all that kind of stuff on the stream, I stay chatting. So you can kind of get two shows in one. We get the show that everybody on the FM hears, on the radio hears, and then you get the stream show. So if there's anything that y'all want to talk about on the stream, we can talk about it. We can continue going. Like the Grammys tonight, I don't think Beyonce should have won any of the Grammys that she won, but I was very happy in seeing Sabrina Carpenter win. So she's young enough, and she's kind of taken the place by storm. So yeah. But yeah, as I said, anything you want to chat about, pop it down, ask me the question. Danny was just thinking there about saying living the American dream. We are living the American dream. Oh, that's what I meant to talk about. Somebody remind me about cutting grass. All right. Not that type of grass. Cutting grass. We're not in Amsterdam. It's okay. I put it into my notes so I can't forget what I'm here. Okay, Trey, what we got? That's terrible. But I am going to talk about it on air. That's a terrible joke, Trey. It's terrible. But I am going to mention it. Yes. Yeah. Shall we do radio? And you're very welcome back. Now, don't forget that not only am I on the FM on your car stereo or anywhere else that you happen to be listening to me, you can also get me on the stream, which is on the WORD 98.9 Facebook page, also my own Facebook page. And if you want to listen to me on the Odyssey app, you can download the Odyssey app. It's AUDACY. Download the Odyssey app, and you can listen to me from anywhere on the mainland United States, and I think in Hawaii as well. I think we cover everywhere. There is, would you believe, over 200 million people who tune in to Odyssey every single week, and you can be part of them. Just download the Odyssey app whenever you get a chance, and you can listen back to all of the great shows that happen here in News Talk 98.9 WRD. All of them, absolutely, and award-winning shows, I might add. Now, I wasn't particularly going to talk about this tonight, but there's been some silly people who have decided that a couple of text messages came in, and there was actually one or two little messages that were sent in to me, like, on my personal, not on my personal stuff, on my work pages. And they were saying to me, Odi, are you worried about being deported because you're an immigrant? Yes, I am an immigrant. But there's one little word that you didn't put in front of it. I am a legal immigrant. I am not only an immigrant, but I'm here because I've done it the right way. A lot of people have said to me, you should be worried and you should be scared and you should. No, I'm not. I'm not worried and I'm not scared because I've done it the right way. Because as you heard from the press secretary earlier on, if you come into the country illegally, you're automatically a criminal. If you do something wrong, then you're a criminal. You are. I hate to say it. But you are. And the reason I hate to say it, because yes, there is huge criminals coming into the country. Well, not anymore, who weren't being vetted. And they've performed terrible acts on people. Murdering, rape, child abuse. So those people should, but the people, and people have said to me, what about, your neighbors or people that live close by you, or, the hardworking guys? And yeah, no, I get it. But you're still illegally in the country. And to be honest, and I've heard Tara talking about it, I've heard Bill talking about it, and Joey, and I've heard Charlie talking about it as well. It kind of hurts me, when it makes me feel bad because I had to do a lot to get legally into the country. And, when I get people sending me horrible messages saying, oh, you need to be careful. Like, no, I came into the country the right way. So look if you're a keyboard warrior and you're out there and you're trying to annoy Odi, don't worry about it because you're not. You're just giving me stuff to talk about. And that's all it is. It's just kind of like, keyboard warriors stay at home. And if you do want to say stuff like that to me, just come and say it to me. I mean, people are very, very brave when they're behind their keyboards. That's all I'm saying. It's just people can be brave when they're behind their keyboards. Now, as you know, with the immigration, with ICE have been cracking down on people that are in the country illegally, and on TikTok and other social medias, you'll see a lot of chatter about it and people being deported, and it has led to a lot of people asking me like all that kind of questions. And I, again, as I say, the short answer is no, I'm not worried. But there has been some teachers saying that they will stop ICE agents coming into their classrooms and not to let ICE into the room. And look, I really understand teachers want to protect kids, because when your kid goes to school, if your kid is at home, you're going to do absolutely everything to protect that child. I'm right in saying that. You are going to move the earth inside out, upside down, back to front to protect your child. I'm right. And when you send your kid to school, you want your teachers to do the same thing. And they will. As we've seen in some unfortunate events, teachers have been killed in schools protecting children, protecting your child, because that's what they do. But the thing is, if you interfere with ICE agents, or if you interfere with any other federal agents, it's against the law. I hate to say it. It's against the law. Don't. I don't know how to put this. It's like, I know you want to protect the kids, and the kids didn't do anything wrong, but if their parents brought them from another country illegally, then they're all now. Yeah, I know. It's a minefield of laws, and so I'm not going to go really deep into that. But then there's people saying that it's all Donald Trump's fault, that it's all Donald Trump, that he's breaking up families, and he's making people leave the country that they've set up their lives, and people that have set up they're free lives because this is the land of the free. It is America. That's what it's been called. But don't blame Donald, because do you remember Barack Obama? Remember that guy? Do you forget that? No, I'm not. I'm talking to the big media here on this one. Do you forget that when Obama was the boss, that they called him? They didn't call him. Well, they could call him a lot of words. They called him the deporter in chief because he deported around 5.3 million illegals in his 2 terms. 5.3 million illegals. I know Clinton deported quite a few. Donald is one of the fewer, but he's doing it. It's because he's doing it. He's doing it quickly. He's doing it fast. And people are saying to me as well that if you're getting deported, if you're leaving the country, that you shouldn't be handcuffed and shackled. Why shouldn't you? If you do something that's against the law and you're on a bus and you're going to a federal prison, or if you're going to state prison, or if you're in the back of a police car, what are they going to do? What's the first thing that they're going to do? They're going to handcuff you because you broke the law. You've possibly broken the law if you're going into a police car. Guilty or innocent until proven guilty. If you're being deported back to a different country, they're not going to put you in first class. Not just going to put you on a plane. I mean, that's how hijackings happen. Imagine an airplane full of people who don't want to go back to the country that they originated from for many reasons, many reasons. Why would they put them into an aircraft without handcuffs on? It's just like have a free for all. Oh, by the way, just take over the plane when you're no, don't do that. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989, arrest a teacher as it is illegal to harbour a fugitive. Period. I get where you're coming from. Okay. I got a very strange one after coming in from 178. I'm glad it's all Trump's fault. Maybe that's a tongue-in-cheek thing. Maybe it's not. Odi, all my people are all about immigration. 500,000 is done correct. Yeah, no, if it's done correctly in the right way, I have no offense for illegal people. Yeah, no, if it's done, I get what you're saying. If it's done the right way, and yeah, no, I do. I understand where you're coming from on that. But if you come into the long story short, if you come into the country illegally, then you're illegal. I'm sorry. And to the people that think it's fun to send me messages asking me, am I worried? And I should be worried. And give it up. Give it up. We just want to have a bit of fun. That's it. That's what the show is about. I bring out the news. I'll let you know what's happening on your. Some people call it the week roundup. I call it the start of the week. I like to think I'm the very first show of your week. So your week starts on Sunday nights. Yeah, just stop being nasty to me. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about cutting grass, and we're going to Punxsutawney. No, I don't like that song. I'm not going to use that one. See, that's what happens sometimes. Just going to pop this one up here, and we'll have a little bit of this one, and pop that in there, and we should press this button. There you go. News Talk 98.9, WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Say what you want, but don't leave me. Trey, I forgot to tell the joke. Sorry. Yes, Mama Bev, I am. As of yesterday. I'll be talking about that later in the show as well. Still got my Gatorade though. Still got my Gatorade. Yeah, Danny. Yeah. You know I used to drink Red Bull. I used to drink Red Bull so much that I was told to stop drinking Red Bull. I just got your text, Danny, as well, and yeah, no, I agree with you. Talk about it again. Chat about it tomorrow. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Got it. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800 905 0989. There is a message came in and it took me a minute to read it because it jumbled it up. Yeah, sorry about that. 297. I agree with you. Yeah, it jumbled it all up a little bit. Odi, I love your show on a Sunday, but I'm sorry, after a big move today, I just need my bed. Go get some sleep. Go get some sleep. Odi, I agree with all that you say, and I'm glad that you will get to vote next time. Yes, I will. And yes, you did the right with the. You did it right with the great show. Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. What what have we got here? On the stream, play Rock Around the Christmas Tree. No, it's not Christmas. Christmas is over. You're about 47 weeks, 46 weeks too early. But I appreciate you tuning in. Really do. On the stream, because remember, we are live on the stream. Trey sent in a message. He sent in a joke. He said, Odi, do you know why Peruvian owls hunt in pairs? Yeah, it's because they're in cahoots. Just going to leave that one there. I've got to talk about that. Mama Bev was in touch with me and she said, Odi, I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, and I will be talking about that later on. I wasn't feeling absolutely fantastic. And on the stream as well. Nah, never mind. Change it to Jingle Bells. No, not going to be playing Christmas songs. Now, I know it is the 2nd of February. I know it's early, but I played the game of Tag You're It adult style today. Now you're wondering, Odi, what are you on about? Seriously, what are you talking about? Tag You're It, the adult style today? Nothing like that. Get your mind out of the gutter. Get it out. Don't be thinking about stuff like that. I cut the grass. There is no bigger flex on anybody in your subdivision, anybody living close to you, than cutting your grass. Because you know that if your neighbor cuts his grass or her grass or their grass or whatever, within about 5 or 6 days, you're going to have to cut your grass as well. It's just the way it is. And yes, I know it's early, but my grass needed it. Needed to be cut back a little bit. And I will tell you one thing. There is nothing better than the smell of fresh cut grass mixed with gasoline from the motor of your lawnmower. It's one of those smells, if you could bottle it. Actually, yeah. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989, let me know what is the most amazing smell in the world. What is the most amazing smell in the world? Yeah, no, I know the other ones. Brand newborn babies. Like when my son was placed on my arms when he was about 15 seconds old, and I was just, it's the smell of baby. But it was my boy as well. So you know. And because he was my boy, he probably farted very soon after that because that's what he does. he's a chip off his old block, off the old block, off his dad. Now, February 2nd, I set an alarm on my phone to wake up at 5:35 this morning. Didn't get out of bed until much later. I had a relaxing morning this morning. I finally got out of bed about 9 o'clock. But early this morning, I tuned in to Punxsutawney in Pennsylvania, where Punxsutawney Phil, little groundhog, small little guy, nice guy, groundhog, good friends with Bill Murray, good friend of mine. Look, I know my Donnie impression is terrible, but I'm going to do it anyway. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, predicting 6 more weeks of a wintry weather. His top hat handlers, top hats, announced this morning from Gobbler's Knob. Don't know how we're allowed to say that, but we are in Western Pennsylvania. There was a massive crowd. It was actually, would you believe, it is the biggest crowd that have ever been to witness the groundhog talking groundhogese, because that's what he does. It's a woodchuck. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? That's what it is. Mass crowd gathered to hear the woodchuck's weather forecast. You try saying that 5 times fast. On an annual ritual that roots in European agricultural life that was boomed in the public interest in 1993 when Bill Murray's movie Groundhog Day was released. The Punxsutawney Groundhog Club says that Phil has deemed to have not seen his shadow and has said to usher in an early spring. That's when that happens. And when he does see it, there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. Do you believe any of it? I'm putting it out there to you. Yeah, I'm looking at you, looking right at you. Do you believe that Punxsutawney Phil? Jim and Easley, I can't say that word, but Punxsutawney Phil, yeah. He doesn't like Punxsutawney Phil. He says, I'm tired of the cold weather. I think he's like, but Jim, it was lovely today. It was absolutely beautiful outside. I was cutting my grass. I was outside cutting the grass. I don't know what Gardenia. Don't know what that is. Don't know. So I'm not going to read it out. Yeah, there you go. The most amazing smell in the world. Can't read that one out either. Listen, I know it's coming up. It's nearly 9 o'clock. It's late on a Sunday night. I understand that. But there's just some things. Look, feel free to text them into me. You can text in whatever you want. Just be nice a little bit about it. But don't text in naughty stuff because I can't read it out. Yes, it will give me a giggle. Yes, it will. But, yeah. I'm going to have to read. There's a lot of stuff is coming up on the text on the stream. I'll go through them now in a few minutes and we'll have a little look. But yeah. So Punxsutawney Phil, do you believe in anything that a groundhog predicts on the weather? If I'm gonna take anything from anybody on the weather predictive, that kind of predicting weather, I'm gonna talk to a farmer, and I'll tell you why. Because farmers, they know what's going on because they have to be out in the land and they have to do whatever they kind of do. On the text line, well, technically winter is 6 weeks longer anyway. Spring is in March 20th, the day after my birthday. Yes, it is. Text says chili beans infused with vanilla extract. It's what? Chili beans infused with vanilla extract. It smells amazing after a lot of servings. I can't imagine it does. Are you talking? Now, here's the thing, Trey. Just Trey texted. Are you talking about when before they go in or after they come out? That's something. That's something I want to know. But no, the weather, as far as I'm concerned, the weather down here in the south has been nice lately, and it's going to get very nice in the coming days. It's supposed to be up into I think, is it the high 60s? It's going to be in the high 60s on Tuesday and Wednesday. And even outside, as I came in from the parking lot and I walked in, I just had a shirt on me. And yeah, no, I had breeches on as well. Stop it. I'm not Donald ducking it tonight either. I didn't do it last night, not doing it tonight. But yeah, the weather has been nice. So maybe Punxsutawney Phil has gotten it wrong. On the text line, my other favorite smell is Grandma's Sunday meal. You see, now, the Sunday meal, it has that smell, because we were talking about what smells you really like, what smells. The Sunday meal, it's obviously a roast meal. Would it be a roast meal? Some sort of a roast, a loin, or what's it? Not a ribeye, a pork. I can't think. A prime rib? Would it be a prime rib? Could be. Anytime I fire up the grill, I get that lovely, that lovely smell, that lovely kind of, it's about to eat time. What is, text in, what is your favorite smell? Odi, the plants are coming up. Oh, the daffodils are the daffodils are coming up as well. Groundhog is hallucinating. Yeah, no, he is. He didn't get it right. He didn't get it right. But my favorite smell, and what I remember, is that. Actually, I need to give a shout out to my friends over in the Taste of England, Taste of Britain in Atlanta. They done it again. Sausages have arrived, and that is my favorite smell. Not grilling, but cooking sausages on a Sunday morning in the house. That lovely smell, pork sausages. Oh, lads. Oh, stop the lights. It is the best smell. It has to be the best smell on the entire planet, is cooking a few sausages and a few rashers and a bit of pudding. I'm getting hungry. Newstalk 98. I'm hungry. Newstalk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Continue in the deadly plane and helicopter collision in Washington, D.C.
Crews have recovered 55 of the victims from the Potomac. That means that there are still 12 families waiting for their loved ones to be recovered. We also got an update from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which is heading up the salvage operations to try to remove the plane and the Black Hawk from the Potomac River. A crane barge moved into place to help remove the plane. Families who lost loved ones in the crash came to the airport for what we believe is the first time since that horrific mid-air collision on Wednesday night. Those family members attended a private memorial along the Potomac.
Fox Business Grady Trimble, the NTSB says in its preliminary findings that one air traffic control.
Yeah, Danny, it is. It's about as accurate.
Helicopters in the air at the time of the crash. The black box recovered from the plane showed that it was at around 300 feet in altitude, while control tower data showed the helicopter at 200 feet. After medical transport, plane crashed in Philadelphia Friday evening. All 6 people on board and 1 person on the ground were killed, at least 22 others injured.
There were 7 fatalities, to include that young girl and her mother. That girl had been receiving treatment here in the city. But we also got an update today from the mayor, who says she's now learned at least 22 people were injured from this crash, and that includes 3 people who are still hospitalized in critical condition. City officials say the crash site actually impacted an area spanning 4 to 6 blocks, with some debris even found in more remote places. The NTSB says right now they're classifying the crash as an accident, but they still need to find the jet's black box.
America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilby, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news.
Trey, what do you got for me, buddy? Fragrant tea olive. Has a wonderful smell. Oh, has a wonderful smell around September. I love the smell of pot roast. Pot roast is good. The beef stew, yeah.
Canada and Mexico announcing tariffs on American imports after President Trump announced tariffs on theirs. Here's the president's reaction.
I disagree with the leadership of Canada, and something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them, and this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent.
The Senate Minority Leader says Americans will feel the sting.
Yeah, Danny. Look at you. Just some people. You just there's no educating them.
Says these tariffs cost the American family an average of about $1,200 a year.
Schumer says we're now in a trade war with Canada and Mexico.
For the American people, it'll now be a war between prices and their paychecks.
He hopes to enact bipartisan legislation to prevent the tariffs. Mexico and Canada are promising their own tariffs on U.S. goods. Ken Uretsky, Fox News.
Democrats elect Ken Martin as the party's national chair.
Martin, who heads the party in Minnesota, won a majority of the DNC's voting members on the first ballot on Saturday. He had 100 votes more than his closest competitor, Ben Wickler, the head of the Wisconsin party. That despite the fact that Wickler had the backing of top Democrats like former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Martin will help lead the Democratic Party forward as it tries to rebuild after losses up and down the ballot in November. Martin says the party has the right message. He says they just need to find a way to make sure that message resonates with the American people, especially with working class voters.
Fox's Madeline Rivera with that report. Martin succeeded former chair Jamie Harrison, who chose not to run for another term. I'm Kathleen Milano. This is Fox News.
Now the Carolinas most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Mainly clear tonight with a low of 39. Northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly sunny skies again tomorrow. Highs level off around 68. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, it's 49 degrees. Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
And now, welcome to Sunday.
And you're very welcome back to the second hour of Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. I like to bring you all the news as it happens and round up your week, or maybe start off your week, depending how you're looking at it. I want to hear your thoughts on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 800-905-0989, or you can call me on the PhD Weight Loss Talk line, 800-905-0989. Give me a call around the break time, and I might get a chance to be able to answer you. Now, we've been talking about the groundhogs, and a lot of people have been getting in touch with them, and they're just saying, well, You know, the groundhogs are no worse, no worse than the normal radio man. Yeah, fair enough. Now, as you know, President Donald Trump has implemented a series of executive orders imposing tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and China in an effort to address illegal immigration. And there has been illegal immigration and, of course, the fentanyl trade. And as you know, fentanyl is an absolutely terrible, terrible drug. These tariffs could potentially result in over $1 trillion in tax in an increase over the next decade. This is tax on on stuff that's coming into the country. The orders cite national security concerns and need to combat criminal organizations as a reason for the tariffs, which is what they are. The orders are also to allow in regulatory actions against countries imposing counter tariffs. And people are saying that, you know, it's going to be a bad thing. And I honestly myself, I don't think it is. Yes, I know it may make the price of certain objects go up a little bit. It may, and the price is going to come back to us. Some clothes, some electrical goods, you know, a lot of electronic goods. But then again, they don't come from China; they come from Japan. And there is no, as much as I'm aware, there's no beef between America and there's no beef between America and Canada and Mexico and China as it is. But you know, you may notice that prices will go up a little bit, and they will. Okay. But the big thing is that maybe it's going to make us shop local. If the tariffs, if they go ahead, they will be starting on the beginning of Tuesday. There would be an additional 25% tariff on imports from Canada, with a lower 10% charge on oil, natural gas, electricity, and other energy products. Energy products are taxed at a lower level to prevent U.S. customers and businesses paying higher taxes for gasoline and utilities. Mexican imports will face the additional 25%, and China will face an additional 10% tariffs. But here's the thing, and it's what you need to know, is that we do need to buy from America. So you look at a lot of stuff, our food, okay? A lot of the food that we eat comes from America. It's American food. Yeah, and I know what you're going to say. You can talk about specialized cuisine, and I bring in potato crisps. I bring them in quite because I like them. They're from Ireland, and they're expensive to bring in. I buy them on Amazon, and they're expensive to bring in. And it's the same with curry sauce. I import that as well. I don't import it. I buy it from Ireland, but it's expensive. I have to pay extra cash because it's something that I like. It's something extra that I like. And it costs me a little bit more to bring it into the country. It does. Because I've looked for curry sauce here in America, but it's just not a thing. It's not a big thing. It didn't really take off. You can get some curry sauces, but I really like the one I used to get. But America is an absolutely vast country. And yes, we do have the technology to produce absolutely everything we need here in the country. And maybe it'll mean that they'll be less reliant on other countries, and we can keep American money in America. Remember around Christmas time, I was talking about shop local. Shop with the small guys, look after the people that are around you, because if you spend your hard-earned money, and yes, it is hard-earned, if you spend your hard-earned money here in America, for argument's sake, you work in Greenville, okay? If you're working in Greenville in South Carolina, and you get your paycheck, and then you go and you have food, you might go to there's many places around the radio station here, and we go for food there. You're keeping the money local, okay? If you go to the small mom and pop places, you're keeping it very local. It's the same if you're buying gifts. If you're buying stuff for people, if you shop local, you keep the money in the area. You keep the money circulating in and around. And people, the small mom and pop stores, the money stays with them. They're growing an economy. Yes, I know there is some items that you may need, and you may need to go somewhere else to get them. You may need to get them on Amazon, or you may need to get them at a bigger store. But it's the same thing on a much grander scale. If you shop and buy American products, then you're keeping the money within America. The money is staying here. If it's a product that's made in America, you just look out for the logo. If you look on a lot of stuff, you look on flags, all the flags. I fly 2 flags in at my house. I fly the American flag because, well, we're in America, and I fly the Irish flag because, well, I'm Irish, and both of my flags have "Made in America" on them. It's small little things, but if you buy American products, if you keep the money in America, it's going to stay in America. It's going to be a good thing. So I don't think it's a bad thing if the tariffs go up, because it's going to make people stay shopping in America. American vehicles, you know, there's some. I know people will give out about them. People will always have to give out about everything. Yes, there was all, and yeah, they will give out about certain brands of vehicles, and I can tell you, I drive an American vehicle at the minute, and it is honestly one of the best vehicles that I've ever driven. And I drove. I actually drive a Japanese vehicle as well. I've 2 vehicles. I've one for going to work and all that kind of stuff, and then I've one that it's for farm work, and it's for throwing stuff in the back. A truck. I have a work truck, a farm truck, and that's Canadian, or is Canadian. It's a Toyota. But shop local. Keep your money. Keep the money in America. And if you keep the money in America, then it means that the prices will go down. The prices will reduce. I mean, the price of eggs has already gone down. Price of gasoline, we've seen it. My local gas station is 254. I haven't seen it that low in a long time. Really haven't. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, Odi, we still have to import actors from Canada. You wouldn't have to know if a terrific new actor from Canada would be going up. You would, yeah. Well, there's some absolutely fantastic American actors. There is a couple of Irish actors as well. You might be listening to one. You never know. It could be an Irish actor. Yeah. When I get back, I'm going to be talking about the death penalty. I want to hear your thoughts on that, about the death penalty, not only here in South Carolina, but in the United States. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD. It is the voice of the Carolinas. I don't know, Mama Babe, if we do go coffee in the US. Let me just check. Yes, we do. Coffee is grown in the United States, but only in Hawaii, California, and Puerto Rico. So yes, we do. We grow coffee in the US.
victim also, stands outside of it, and its presence alone symbolizes both directly and indirectly, whether it's deliberate or not, the non-conforming individual will of hundreds of millions of individual Americans with individual lives, individual families, individual businesses, individual wealth, just being individuals. All of that combined is what makes him the real proof. Because if you think about this, the founding fathers, none of them had had the time to work in an institutionalized setting prior to our founding. They held office and all this other stuff, but nothing like what we see today. And of all the people that held office recently, probably the closest one to them is Trump. So like him or not, he's probably closer to what your philosophy is than you may care to.
Straight Talk with Bill Frady. Now weekdays noon to 3. News Talk 98.9 WLID, the voice of the Carolinas.
At California Psychic, we know that when you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked, even the average ones. Suddenly all chocolates are heart-shaped, and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychic.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be flaunting your love life in public real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. 800.
On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 800-905-0989. What have we got here? Odi, the gas prices are going to be $3 within a week. I don't know, are they? Are they? Who's telling you? Do I need to fill up my car? Odi, I don't buy anything from Canada. I only buy from buy Mexican blueberries for my chickens. And if it's only by choice, both of these countries act like enemies. I don't know. Odi, I recently watched an Irish documentary. Says Odi, I recently watched an Irish documentary called Bridget Naaman. Have you seen it, and how accurate is it? First of all, it's not a documentary; it's a TV show. It's comedy. It's a sitcom. It was set back in the 80s. I actually know. I know Bernard O'Shea. He's the character Eamon. Used to do a lot in the comedy scene with him. I was as you know, I do a lot of stand-up comedy, and when I was on the comedy circuit in Ireland, I done quite a bit with Bernard. He's a good guy. He plays Eamon. It is slightly accurate. It is slightly accurate to a life back in Ireland in the 1980s. Now, in Columbia, South Carolina, there's been a third inmate has been put to death in 4 months. Friday, Friday was the day where Marion Bowman Jr. was executed at 6:27 p.m. Bowman, who was 44, was convicted of the murder and shooting dead of a friend whose burnt body was found in the trunk of a car. Bowman maintained his innocence since his arrest and started his final statement with, "I did not kill Candy Martin." His lawyer said that he was convicted on the word of several friends and relatives who received deals or had charges dropped by prosecutors in exchange for their testimonies. Bowman went on to say, "I know that Katie's family is in pain and are justifiably angry. If my death brings them some relief and the ability to focus on good times and funny stories, then I guess it will have served a purpose. I hope they find peace." Now, I want to know, what are your thoughts on the death penalty? I do. So Bowman, who was he's been on death row for more than half of his life. He was offered a plea deal for life sentence, but went to trial because he claimed his innocence. He said that he was not guilty. Friday's execution was the third South Carolina since September, and the state has added there was a 13-year pause in executions because the officials couldn't obtain lethal injection drugs. That to me that sounds very strange. It really does. What I want to know is, do you think there should be a death penalty? And yes, there has been many groups, many Christian groups, and people reaching out and saying that they want to call for an end to the death penalty across the country. But I will say, I will get to your text in a couple of minutes. I will get onto that and on the stream as well. Is do you believe that we should have the death penalty? Now, when you think about it, that there is some countries where you can be put to death in the streets, not in any, in a state designated area for executions. You can be put or put to death in the streets for little things like not little, but things like committing adultery, or if you rob something, if you steal something. There is some countries on this planet where you can be beheaded in the streets. Now I want to know, again, death penalty, should we have it? On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, the death penalty is our last resort to protect society from human predators. Even in prisons, some of them continue to kill both staff and other inmates. Odi, I'm for the death penalty. I don't like inmates sitting on death row for decades and decades. Odi, death penalty is a definite. Odi, is there a death penalty in Ireland? No, there's no death penalty in Ireland. But it is. So here's the thing. If you do something, and if there is, like, I know Bowman, who was put to death on Friday, says that he wasn't guilty. He was pleading for his life, and he said that he definitely wasn't guilty. And I know what you're going to say is that something that somebody who wasn't guilty would say, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about the case, and I don't know enough about the previous case as well. But if somebody was to do a horrific act, a violent, horrific act, I'm not going to mention names or talk about people, but if there was a serial killer out there, it's okay. We'll bring it back quite a few years. Jack the Ripper. Yes, I know. Many years. Jack the Ripper was a notorious serial killer in London in the 1800s. If he was doing that now, and if he was living now, and if he was killing many people, I think he killed like 6 or 7 people in the space of a year or 2 years. And if he was convicted, and he was convicted obviously by a jury and a judge of his peers, and it was irrefutable evidence that he committed the crimes and he was a predator and shouldn't be on the planet, yes, a person like that should be executed. And yes, Texter, I do like what you're talking about. I don't like inmates sitting on death row for decades, because if an inmate sits on death row, we talked about it on the show. If an inmate is sitting on death row, it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every single year to keep them in prison. And again, I was talking about prisons, or maybe I haven't. Are prisons too nice for some? Some people that go to prison, some animals. Prison could be too nice for them. Jim and Easley, yeah, no, I get what you. And that would be the death by firing squad. Jim says a 9mm hollow point cost 50 cents after 2 appeals and no contradicting evidence. Justice should be swift and in public. Now, there is something else as well. Is, as you know, many years ago in France and lots of other places, they had the guillotine, and the guillotine was in public, and you could go and watch an execution. In America in the 1800s, I'm not too sure, the late 1800s, it could have been, please correct me if I'm right, but it could have been in the early 1900s as well, where there was public hangings. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a kind of a message, isn't it? if you see a public execution of something that happens to, like, if somebody commits a really bad crime, like in France, the guillotine was used if people were committing murders, and as Jim says, if there was irrefutable evidence, then they were put to death, and it was done, and it was dusted, and there was no waiting for specialized drugs. So yeah, I really think that if someone does a deplorable act, a horrible and deplorable act, yes, they should. Is it an eye for an eye? I know they say many times that if you take an eye for an eye, then everybody else will be blind. But not everybody goes around killing people. Not everybody goes around committing heinous crimes. They just don't. So it's one of those subjects that, yeah. And I know here in South Carolina you can choose to be killed by firing squad. And I know the way the firing squad works, I think it's 5 people, and 4 people are handed loaded weapons, and 1 person is handed a weapon with a blank in it, or a wax round, so that there's plausible deniability. But should as Jim and Easley says, should the sentence be carried out in public? Should it be out in the open? Should it be setting an example? I'm not sure. It possibly should. It really should. If you see something happening, like what happened to the prisoner that was executed on Friday, did you know about it? I know Charlie was talking about it. I tuned into Charlie's show on Friday evening, and I know he was talking about it. But did you know about it? I think maybe if they're going to do it, if there's going to be if there's going to be execution, should they be public? It's not something that everybody wants to see or everybody wants to hear about. But if you do the crime, you have to do the time, or you have to serve the sentence. And as I said, if someone's rotting in death row if it's, again, back to the irrefutable evidence, and yeah, yeah. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. It is the voice of the Carolinas.
Thought he did a magnificent job with his hearing. He was very strong. I think he's going to be great at the FBI.
But most Democrats and some Republicans say they plan to vote against him. 2 days later, the mayor of Philadelphia is defending her city's response to a deadly plane crash.
Please continue to lift them, their families and loved ones up in prayer, and our city stands with them and every victim of this tragedy.
7 people were killed when a medevac plane slammed into a residential area. Americans listening to Fox News.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Mainly clear tonight with a low of 39. Northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly sunny skies again tomorrow. Highs level off around 68. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Buchitsky from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, it's 46 degrees.
Lots could happen in a day. China's AI model DeepSeek. Miss an hour, miss lots. The tech world.
The U.S. is Colombia's most important trading partner.
Colombia reverses courses, now allowing illegals back into their country.
Immigration crackdown is underway in Chicago and other major U.S. cities. Return to their home. Get out. Your tips will be 100% universal.
Stay up to the minute
day you watch as other businesses outperform yours. They don't try any harder than you. They don't have a better team than yours. They don't care more than your people do. Still, they grow more than they deserve, and you don't. You feel it's unfair because it is. And I'm here to tell you that your instincts are correct. The playing field is not level. Never has been. I'm Nick Torbeck, senior partner in the Wizard of Ads marketing group. We'll explain exactly what they're doing and how you can beat them this year. Together with 4 of my partners, we'll show you how to inspire 1 million people to think of you when it's time to buy. It's a half-day seminar.
What do you got for me on the stream there, Trey? Yeah, Trey, I don't know what's happening, man. For some reason, the Facebook things aren't loading up. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. The Old Testament has a lot of support for death penalty, especially when it comes to murder. Yeah. No, Jim, I don't know why. I'm not getting any of the Facebook texts for some reason. I don't know what's happening. I know there was a problem with it.
This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop our collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem.
You're very welcome back. I got a text, a very strange text in. No, I'll come to that in a second. We were talking about the death penalty earlier on and whether you want to see it gone or whether you want to see it stay. A lot of people on the text line and a lot of people on the stream have been getting in contact with me. Trey said that the Old Testament has a lot of support for the death penalty, especially when it comes to murder. Yeah, see, Trey, I mean, can't be wrong. Odi, we on the text line, Odi, we do need the death penalty for child molesters. 100%. 100%. Then there's some people asking me very stupid things. Not too sure what that's all about. Odi, I don't mind our lengthy appeals because of the state. If the state executes the wrong person by mistake, then all society shares the guilt. Yes, 100%. I am 100% behind you on that. Yeah. Oh no. So I got in a text message and it was asking about because I was talking earlier on about people sending horrible messages into the show. No, we take them very seriously. If anybody sends in really nasty messages, we take them very, very seriously. And nuisance messages as well. We take all that very seriously as well. So yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate your support and the message you sent. Thank you very much for that. Now, I'm not going to play the music because I had a bad week. I had a bad week when it comes to the gym. So I'm not going to play the music. No, I'm not. Will I? Will I play it anyway? Will I just pop it in? I might just. We'll just pop it in here, and we can talk about it. We'll talk about it on the down low kind of thing. All right. Talk about it on the low. Yeah, I know. I've been doing pretty good, but this week we had a bad week. Yes, we did. So what happened was, if you were listening to the show last week, you will know that I wasn't feeling 100%. I wasn't really feeling great, and I had no kind of energy about myself. And yes, there is a lot of things going around. There is a lot of bugs going around. A lot of people have been, a lot of people have been getting sick. A lot of people have been coming down with is it like flu-like symptoms? Kind of was. It was for me anyway. My back was sore, and for me, I know if I'm getting a little bit sick, if I'm under the weather, it normally starts in my back, and I get a sore. I get muscles in my back. I get sore. Muscles in my legs will get sore, and it's like a flu, but it's just a cold. And I don't think I was contagious or anything like that. Nobody around me ended up getting sick, but there was a few people. Maybe I caught it off somebody else. I don't know. But I went for a swim on Tuesday, and when I was in the pool, I just didn't feel. I didn't feel fantastic. I really didn't. I just had no energy. I just kind of bleh. And yeah, that is a word. Bleh. That is definitely a word. And and I got home. I got home from the pool. I got home into my house. I don't know what stage it was, what time it was. But I sat on the couch for a while. And it seemed for like about 30 seconds. That's what it really seemed like. It seemed like I was on the couch for about 30 seconds. I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes, and it was about 11:45, quarter to midnight. And then I got up and I went to bed, and I slept because it just, sometimes they say it's what your body needs. And then on Wednesday, I got home from work late on Wednesday. So it was the same kind of thing. And Thursday, it was something similar. I just had no energy. And Friday, yeah, I know what you're saying to me, Odi. You need to get back at it. And I am. So tomorrow, I will be back in the pool. I'm going to go for a swim tomorrow. And then I'm going fishing on Tuesday. I have to go for a fish on Tuesday because I like fishing. You all know I do. I have my fishing buddies. So yes, I will get back into. I will get back into the YMCA on Monday. I'm gonna hit it hard. I'm gonna go hard on. I'm gonna put in the effort. Gonna push through as best I can. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So there's a little update. I am lighter again. I'm 247 pounds. I think I am now. But yeah. Odi, we need lane filtering. Use your platform. Oh yeah. I've convinced the reps, but they aren't bothered. Lane filtering. Is that? Yes. So I wasn't going to talk about that even slightly, but So lane filtering, if you don't know, is if you'd ride motorcycles, and everybody knows that I ride a motorcycle, and I've actually got some new luggage arriving for my bike. The box on the back. I'm going to do that because I'm going to try traveling a little bit more around the US because I like traveling. I'm going to do it on the bike, and I don't like everybody knows I don't like riding on the interstates on my motorcycle. So I'm going to be riding on the smaller roads, the back roads, and the twisty roads, which are fun on a motorcycle. But if I do have to ride in traffic, and I miss it because in Ireland you can lane filter. Lane filtering is when you go through the traffic. If the traffic is stopped at lights, okay, so there's a backup. There's about 10 cars stopped at a light. The most dangerous place for a motorcycle to be is behind the car. Because, as you know, there is people out there who like to be on their phones when they're driving their car. And they don't see somebody. Now, if a car rear ends another car, it's bad. Okay, it's not fantastic. There could be injuries, there could be whiplash, there could be anything. There could be some very severe injuries, or there could be some small injuries. If a car rear ends a motorcycle sitting in traffic, chances are it's going to be very, very bad, because yes, motorcycles, and I know what people are saying, well, don't ride motorcycles, and no, but I like it. I like riding bikes. And if you can excuse me, if you can filter through the traffic, I mean, if you can go to one side, or if you can go up to the front, and I don't see why I, I don't see why that you can't do it. Because think about it for a second. So motorcycles accelerate faster than cars. Okay, they do. They get off the lights a lot quicker than a car can. It's just a fact. If there's traffic and if the motorcycles go to the front of the line, they're going to go. You're not going to get stuck behind a motorcycle. You're not even slightly. You're going to move forward. You're going to move quickly on a motorcycle. It's going to be like there's nothing in front of you, because bikers will take off. The bikers don't want to get stuck in traffic, so they move quickly and observantly, obviously enough. But again, if you're stuck behind a car and a car comes plowing into the back of you, or a semi truck, or even a truck comes into the back of you, there's not a lot protecting you. You've got your helmet on. I hope you have your helmet on. I really hope you do. Are you riding a motorcycle without your helmet? Actually, you know what? Text in Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Tell me if you wear a helmet. I wear a helmet. I always do. Tell me if you wear a helmet driving your motorcycle. Just out of pure curiosity. That's all. And if you want to elaborate as to why you don't, then go for it. I'm not. Look at it. You're a grown person. You can do whatever you want. I'm just curious. Just curious. That's all. Just want to know. When I come back, talking about motorcycles, because text line is after exploding a little bit. Oh, yeah, Odi, I hear it's called lane splitting in the US. A friend of mine from New York says that it is not only illegal, it is encouraged. Yes, it is. When I come back, I'm going to be talking a little bit about wrestling. Yeah.
would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-0874. 800-390-0874. 800-390-0874.
One number does it all. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
And you're very welcome back to the last segment of the show. I hope you're having fun. We were talking about motorcycle safety in the last segment. A lot of people are talking about it. Odi, I wear a full helmet, motorcycle gloves, high visibility riding clothing, or leathers with high vid vest, leather boots, etc. Yeah, well, see, that's that's the thing. Everything except bubble wrap. That's the thing. You need to be careful. You need to be careful when you're riding motorcycles. I don't wear a helmet. I feel I can see better. 40,000 miles on my motorcycle. All right. A couple of other texts before I get to that. I've always heard it called lane splitting here in the US. A friend of mine in New York says that it's not only legal, but it is encouraged. Just talking about the helmets as well. I'm not doubting. I'm not even slightly doubting your ability to ride a motorcycle, because I mean, you're saying 40,000 miles, you're doing great. It's just the other person. It's the other person, the person that didn't see you, because yeah, you can see better without the helmet on, but it's the other guy that doesn't see you. Because I think there was a statistic, I remember reading it once, and there was a statistic out there that 100 or 95% or 85% of motorcycle accidents are not caused by the motorcycle rider. I just put it out there. That's all. Odi, I always wear my helmet. I don't want to be pulled over. Oh, well, okay, yeah. So if you're listening in Georgia or in North Carolina, there is helmet laws. So yeah, you gotta wear your helmet on that. So that's, yeah. I mean, I always wear mine. I feel from growing up in Ireland having to wear a motorcycle helmet in whenever I rode a motorcycle, I instantly wear one. So and look I will hold my hand up, because as you know, I always tell it straight as it is. I'm going to hold my hand up and I'm going to say that I rode a motorcycle here in America without a helmet, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. I didn't like it at all. I just, Odi, I'm from North Carolina, and my old man and friend of his used to toss their helmets into the ditch at Pickens Highway, and when they would cross into South Carolina, they would pick them back up again. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. I took a spin up to Helen in is Georgia, Helen, Georgia, and I think you cross wherever you cross over. There was 2 or 3 motorcyclists in front of me. Now I had my helmet on, and they pulled in and they put their helmets on, and then they went again. I was like, would you not just leave them on? Anyway, yeah. No, that's just my thoughts. Now, as you know, on the Upstate Pulse on Saturday nights, we have a bit of fun with Lonzo and the crew, and we talk about wrestling. Well, the Royal Rumble was on last night. You know the Royal Rumble, big one, where I want to get this as right as possible, because if Lonzo's listening, he'll be giving out to me if I get it wrong. So the first event was the female Royal Rumble, where it starts out with 2 girls in the ring, and then every, I want to say, minute or 2 minutes or something along those lines, another person joins them, and then it's a free-for-all. And I think you have to be thrown over the top rope, and your feet have to land on the ground, and you're eliminated. Okay. I've always been kind of, I won't say on the fence on the top rope. I remember I used to watch when I was a kid, a small kid back in Ireland. We used to have WWF. It was there, and I used to watch it, and it was I enjoyed it. The Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and the Bushwhackers, and that's how far back I'm going. And I think Jake the Snake Roberts, is it Jake the Snake Roberts? They were all on it, and I enjoyed it. And then I got a bit older, and I was like, look it, I'm just going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it because we all know what I'm going to say, but it is entertaining. And a lot of people derive a lot of entertainment from watching the wrestling, whether it's WWF or WWE or TNT. I think that's one of them. I don't know them all. Lonzo can tell you them all, but yeah. So last night when we went for food, we were watching the Royal Rumble and we were watching the build up. And then when we were before the show, we were watching the Royal Rumble again. And it was entertaining. I was watching it. And then when I went home, Lonzo said to me that, the male Royal Rumble is going to happen. Now, I don't want to give spoilers to anybody that hasn't watched it, but Jake Paul was there, or John Paul, or Jake Paul, or I don't know, one of them. One of the guys was there. And when I watched him getting thrown out of the ring, I'm not going to lie to you. I laughed quite a lot. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very, very entertaining. I did on the stream. Wrestling is cool. Yeah, it is. And towards the end of the match, then I was getting into it. I could see the choreography. Well, a little bit of it, and I could see what was happening. And I was watching it. And I was like, this is fun, and it was fun, and it was entertaining. And I turned off my brain completely. I was sitting at home. It was late enough, and I literally had my brain turned off. I was just sitting there watching. It was like, that kind of. I'm going to say this to the guys out there, and the girls are going to listen, and they're going to just roll their eyes. I will be able to hear the girls' eyes rolling in their heads as I say this. Okay, but I guarantee there was a lot of guys who were like, cheering on. I'm not going to say who won or who lost or whatever, but there was a lot of times where I just sat back and I done the man giggle. You know what the man giggle is? It's like, and I did. Because it was funny, because it really entertained me. And I think I'm not going to be as big a fan as, as Lonzo and Cameron. And I think Rod Brown from the Rod Brown Show. I think he's a pretty big fan. And I know some of the guys over on the planet, they're big into the wrestling as well. I'm never going to be as big as possible a fan as they are. But you know what? It's kind of, yeah, on the text line. Odi, people call it fake, and it is not the right word. It's scripted or staged, but not fake. They are acrobats and actors who do their own stunts. Yes, 100%. That is what I was talking about with Lonzo last night. It is scripted. It is not fake, because I don't care who you are. If you fall on a mat, it hurts. It does. And have you seen the guys and girls that do it? They are fit. They are extremely physical fit. They are. Because I know for one thing, I couldn't lift someone up over my head. Not even slightly. No, I know. I look at it. I know I've got the strength of the Irish behind me, the strength of an entire nation. But I couldn't lift someone over my head. I couldn't climb onto the top ropes and do whatever does thing. But yeah. Texter says to me, I prefer sumo wrestling. Watching those mighty mountains of meat. That's kind of weird, but yeah, fair enough. But yeah, no. So yeah, I was watching the wrestling last night, and I think I might watch it again. I think I may watch something else. Now, as you know, I like to take a little minute and talk about our mental health, because the world that we're living in is fast, and it's a little bit crazy and a little bit frenzied and a little bit out there. And I want us all to look out for each other and look after each other. I was talking about keyboard warriors earlier on. I can handle it. All right. And as I said, when we get silly messages in here, the producers of the shows, they either block people or, they stop them from, because we don't want that kind of stuff. Little background stuff is just stuff like that is You know, we block people from silly stuff. Sometimes you can't block everything out, and sometimes you might need a little bit of help. Maybe your life is going a little bit hard for you. Maybe everything's a little bit overwhelming, and you might feel the need that you need to talk to somebody. And if you do, there is always somebody to listen to you. As I say many times, if help is asked for, help will be given. And I want to end the show, and I think I'm going to end every show on this. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about your mental health, because your mental health is keeping you going. And sometimes, as I say, life gets just a little bit too hard. And there is help out there. People have said to me when I say the name of this hotline, the Lifeline, that I always omit one word. I don't. It is, if you want to get in contact with the line, it's 988. You can call it or you can text it. It is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That's what it is. And it's out there to help you. And it will help you. There is always help for everybody. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you do, what walk of life you're from. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what God you pray to. It doesn't. There is always help out there. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 988. Call or text. I will be back next Saturday night. Joey's in the morning, then Tara, then Bill, then Mike, then Charlie. See you later, guys. Slán Abhaile. Bye. All right, people on the text. There are some local independent wrestling shows. I don't think Odi might be able to check them out. Pro Wrestling Turbo, because okay, yeah. That sounds good to me, Trey. Cool. Right, guys, I am out of here. I will talk to you later in the week. Slán Abhaile. Bye.